This morning, as you know, we are counting down to the solar eclipse, and not only will it provide an incredible view, but also it's an opportunity to learn new things about the sun and the universe we live in.
Meteorologist Chita Craft went to Ellington Field to see firsthand the kind of experiments scientists will conduct high above the ground during the Great American Eclipse.
There are only 3 WB-57s left in the world, and 2 of them NASA will be flying during the solar eclipse. One of them right here. Flying high above the Earth, above most of the atmosphere, scientists will be able to see infrared light from the sun that you can't see from the ground.
We're well above the most weather effects. There's not as much dust or dirt or stuff in the atmosphere to diminish the quality of the imagery that we're getting and the data we're collecting. So us being at 50,000 feet is a big advantage.
And during the solar eclipse, timing and coordinates have to be perfect.
Well, there's a lot of pressure to get the aircraft where it's supposed to be on time, in position, at the right speeds, so that the cameras and the sensors can point to where they're supposed to be and get the data.
That's why you need a NASA pilot and a NASA SEO, sensor equipment operator.
And of course, you have to get your timing exactly right.
Solar astrophysicist Amir Caspi tells me the experiments they're doing can only take place during a total solar eclipse.
We're going to be looking at it with 4 cameras that are looking at it in special colors or wavelengths of light, from visible light, which is what we see with our eyes, all the way down to a region of light we call the mid-wave infrared, which not only can we not see it with our eyes, we can't really measure it very well from the ground because the atmosphere emits and absorbs those wavelengths of light.
That's why they're using the WB-57 with cameras built with special technology.
In fact, for the mid-wave infrared camera, where we're going to get some of the most important discoveries, that camera actually has a cooler on it that gets it down to really, really cold temperatures of something like minus 150 degrees Celsius, 150 Celsius below zero.
Sammy says great.
Several experiments will happen between the 2 different WB-57 planes that will be flying April 8th. This is the first time this spectrometer will be loaded on a WB-57 that will then fly at 50,000 feet to measure the emission from the corona.
But what we're trying to understand, we've been trying to understand this for a long time, is how that energy gets up there to make it so hot. So the different observations that we'll be making will give us some clue as to how that energy might be getting up into the corona.
They're also hoping to collect more data with new instruments to understand solar wind.
It's a constant stream of particles that's coming off of the sun, and we don't really know how that solar wind is formed really close to the sun.
Here on the ground, cloud coverage or rain can dampen our view of the eclipse, but these experiments will go on no matter what the weather is like and help scientists and us understand more about the sun.
That is really interesting information. All right, clouds, no clouds, rain, no rain. We will still have live team coverage of the eclipse starting at noon on Monday.